We are live.
It's the only thing I don't like about running insurance is not going up here where it's on the mic. Love that. Give me a couple of insurance on top. Go long sleeve.
Yeah.
I love those.
Got some soccer jerseys.
Yeah, I love those too. Those are so comfortable.
And there we are. Okay.
Honored instructor.
About to intermediate and beginner level students, welcome everybody. Let's do a couple minute or two of breathing and then we'll transition to the racing horse. Feel that cascade of relaxation flowing down the body from the top of your head all the way through, checking in with your different areas of the body for tension. Let it flow all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Be relaxed.
It's allergies, it's nothing else.
I trust you, Mr. Watkins. I know any snivel or cough, like, isn't it the, oh, it's very stressful times. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Be relaxed. The next time that you breathe out, go ahead and open your eyes and lower your hands and transition to a bracing horse. Separate feet shoulder width apart. Turn those toes in slightly so the outside edges of your feet become parallel. Sit back with your tuck. Circle the arms back, circle the arms forward. straighten the legs, lower the hands, circle the arms up, inhale. Press the palms down, exhale. Very good. All right, so what I'm going to do is jump right into those last couple of moves of the first section so that we hopefully have those kind of mostly complete today. And then if there's time left, run it from the beginning so you get a sense of what the whole section is. Next week is the last week on this rotation. I don't think anyone in here is testing, but it would be the testing. So 2 more classes on this material. And in a perfect world, those 2 classes, I would love to spend them being able to answer questions and kind of review moves and running sequence. But if, it'll be what it'll be. So, we're going to start from the last brush knee push. So we're going to do that hidden hand punch, then a move called withdraw and push, and then we'll talk about this other move called cross hands. But if we don't get to cross hands, we can do that next week. So, double dragon's foot placement, left foot forward. We've just finished our brush knee push 5. So, first thing we're going to do, we previewed it a little bit last week, we're going to rock back, pivot on the heel, lower the hands, right hand turns into a fist. You're going to sink down, step in, and you're going to step out to that T, where the heel of my right foot is in alignment with the arch of my left foot. As I shift into that right foot, I'm going to turn from the waist, and I'm going to lift my arms and look kind of out towards my hand. And now I'm going to shift the weight into the right foot as I turn my waist. Right fist is going to come by my sash. Sink down, step in, step out, heel toe, shift to the left, turn to the left, turn the right toes in, hidden hand punch. And then this one, the feet don't move. So let's just add this on. So I'm going to turn a little bit more to the left, and I'm going to slip my left hand underneath my right elbow. I'm going to shift back, and I'm going to clear my hand. And then I'm going to shift forward to push. So this is called withdraw and push. And basically it just means I just have to clear this right hand to start from a push. Okay, so just keep the feet where they are and reset to the end of brush knee push 5. So shift back, pivot on the heel, lower the hands, form a fist with the right. Sink down, step in, step out to that T. Shift to the right, turn and lift the hands. Turn to the right, chamber the right fist. Sink down, step in, step out, heel toe, shift, hidden hand punch, and withdraw and push. Turn a little bit more to the left, slipping left hand underneath the right elbow, shift back, clear the arms, shift forward to push. Okay, reset, push back a couple since we did a couple of steps. Same thing, brush knee push 5. Hidden hand punch, or step forward, deflex, downward, intercept, and punch. And so shift back, lower the hands, right hand into a fist, sink down, step in, step out to the T, shift into the right, turn and lift the hands, shift more into the right as you turn into the right, chambering the right fist, sink down, step in, step out, heel toe, double dragon, shift the hidden hand punch. And withdraw and push. Turn a little more to the left, slip the left hand underneath the right elbow. Shift back, clear the arms. Shift forward, push. And then keep the feet here. We'll do one more for brush knee push 5. And rock back. Lower the hands. Sink down, step in. Step to your T. Turn and lift, turn and chamber, down, step in, step out, heel toe, shift, hidden hand punch. And withdraw and push. Slip under, clear the hands, shift forward, push. And release. Let's do that one more time just like that, so kind of like one set, another set, and then I'll switch places and demonstrate and answer any questions. So. End of brush knee push 5. And rock back, lower the hands. Sink down, step in. Step to that T. Turn and lift the hands. Continue turning to the other way. Chamber the fist. Sink down, step in. Step out, heel toe. Shift to the left, hidden hand punch. And withdraw and push, clear the hands, shift back, shift forward, push. Keep the feet where they are, switch your hands for brushy push. And we'll do it again. Rock back, lower the hands, right hand in a fist. Sink down, step in. Step out to that T. Shift to the right, turn and lift the hands. Turn to the right, chambering the right fist. Sink down, step in. Step out, heel toe. Shift to the left, turn to the left, hidden hand punch. For withdraw and push, turn a little more to the left. Slip the left hand underneath the right elbow. Clear the hands as you shift back. Shift forward, push. And release. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate here. You can be wherever you want to be. I'm going to do it without words first, and then I'll break it down for you. So, broken down. Where does the step forward, deflect downward, intercept, and punch come from? I will label them for you. This is the step forward, deflect downward, intercept, and punch. When we're safe to work on applications in earnest again, this is going to be someone throws a punch, deflect it downward, check their elbow, step forward, hidden hand punch is called hidden because this turns their back a little bit. And I'm here getting deflected, so I can't really see it coming, and it sneaks in here on the rib cage.
Do you need a loogie?
No. With all honesty, with the COVID finally breaking into the threshold, we're not going to do applications today. We're going to kind of keep it no contact for our students. Not because I think anyone here has it. I'm just like, it's a reminder that it ain't over. It is not over. So again, this is the, oh, don't get hit. Deflect downward, intercept, punch. And then for withdraw and push, this is, I can just do this, but there's no flow in that. So by turning a little more, this allows this to kind of just slip under there. And then push. If we get to, I think we will, get to add on cross hands, what's going to happen is I'm going to shift back. And instead of doing like a reverse single whip, they're going to come up a little bit as my toes turn in. I'm going to step to even. And the arms are going to fold and do that. So that's the last little bit. And the cool thing about cross hands is that's how you end all the forms or all the sections. So if you know it for the first section, yay, you know it for the second section, third section, end of form, all of the above. Any questions about the hidden hand punch? Or, yes, sir.
When you're doing your withdraw and push,
Mhm.
and you're turning left, you're turning, but are you also shifting a little bit, or?
Tiny bit more. That's a good question. So I wouldn't say I'm shifting so much as I am loading a little bit more weight into that front foot. Because I'm already pretty shifted.
Right.
So I'm here. I mean, if I'm at 60-40 here, I'm about 63-37.
Okay.
So it's pretty minimal.
Okay.
But I'm ish. I mean, that's just like, I feel a little bit more pressure, a tiny bit more, but I'm already pretty shifted into this front leg. Like, I don't shift more that I feel off balance and it puts some weird strain on my knee.
Okay.
So it's more of a pressuring, I would say. And then I instantly kind of pressure off of this foot and start to transfer that weight into the back leg.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? Anything you want to see?
No, but I noticed that, I think when I've always done it, this hand has always come down here to sort of, I don't know, hide it. Rather than leave it up here.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
sort of-
again, I think that's a learning curve a little bit. Let me see. Well, I wouldn't do this because if there's an elbow this is kind of where my attention is going. So I wouldn't bring this all the way in, it's checking that elbow and then punching underneath it. So I think when we teach it, we definitely emphasize the turn, as a unit, and then you'll see as you get more experience with it, turn, I continue to turn, but this doesn't really follow it, if that makes sense. Good questions today. For beginners, I want to also add that depending on the experience level of the people in your class, you may see it where they don't. I call it the Japanese monster movie, the we definitely emphasize this, because if you don't get this, notice that makes me turn my waist. My waist has to turn if I'm gonna do this. And then as I turn here, my waist is turned again to here. As you get more experience, not in the first section, not in the beginner, but when you get to intermediate advanced, you may see this, so you may see it in your classmates sometimes, is this internalizes. So you won't always see this. So if you don't see it as a beginner, do this. Just know that if you don't see it, they haven't left it out. They've just, it's what we call internalized it, if that makes sense. Any other questions? More practice? Come on in. Touch anything, but I'm gonna. All right, Brushy push 5. And begin, shift back, lower the hands. Sink down, step in. Step out to that T. Turn and lift. Keep turning, chamber the fist. Down, step in, step out, hidden hand punch. And withdraw and push. And just for fun, let's try across hands. So keep your feet where you are, shift back, straighten the hands. And turn to the front, turn the left toes in, arms are going to come up. Arms are going to start to come down as you step to even, about shoulder width apart or a little narrower. The arms are going to cross with your right hand in front. And then they're going to fold over and lower as your feet come together. Cool. Reset. Let's do push back. Then begin. Shift. Lower the hands. Sink down, step in. Step out. Turn and lift. Turn the other way. Chamber the fist. Sink down, step in. Step out. Heel it up. And hand punch. Withdraw and push. And for cross hands, keep your feet where they are, but shoot back, straighten the arms. Turn towards the front, arms go up, left toes in extremely. Lower the arms as you step even. Fold the arms, right hand in front, fold it over, and lower and feet together. Great. One more time.
Sorry, man. Sometimes it gets to me.
I know, when you get the third tickle, and yeah, I get it. And begin. Follow in front if you can't see me. Nice and slow. And withdraw and push. And for cross hands, shift back, straighten the arms. Turn to the front, toes in. Arms up, arms down. Fold the arms over. Cross hands, feet together. So, just one little fine tuning on the cross hands. It isn't just straight up from here. There's a shift back. So there's a shift and then a lift. So give yourself that little transition out of it before you start to turn. Any questions about cross hands or
There will be.
It's okay. Yeah, and again, this is first time you see it. I love the analogy of a luggage conveyor belt. If you miss your suitcase the first time, your suitcase is just gonna keep coming around. And our curriculum is designed for you to see it many, 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 many times. And you will get many, many, many more times to practice cross hands in every possible section of it. But what I'd like to do, since we have about 7 minutes left, is let's run that whole first section. And it's, again, just for sequence. This is not a quiz or a test of like proficiency on all the moves. This is just, my hope is that you'll have a little chunk that you can practice on your own, a nice little chunk. And if you don't remember all the moves, that's okay. But you've got like, all right, here's a nice little Tai Chi snack that you can work on when you're not here. All right, I will call names. No need to call back. And again, it's not a test. Sort of a, do they have connect the dots books for kids anymore? They were a big, they were a big hit when I was a kid. And I was like, this is boring, it's a giraffe, I got it. You know, but we're connecting dots now. That's what we're doing. Step left. Commencement. Ward off right. Ward off left. Ward off right. Pull back. Press. Push. Single whip. Lift hands. Strike with shoulder. White crane, spread wings. Brush knee push, 1. Playing guitar, 1. Brush knee push, 2. Brush knee push, 3. Brush knee push, 4. Playing guitar, 2. Brush knee push, 5. Step forward, deflect downward. Intercept. And punch. Withdraw and push. Cross hands. Shift. Turn the toes in. Lift the hands. Step open. Right over left, down and step together. And the first section. Follow okay?
Up until the hidden hand punch, because the way you were calling it, I just lost the
That's
entire.
I was doing it by the names, and I was like, this might not be helpful. Try not to tell me.
It's okay.
That's okay, so we'll do it again, and when we get to that part, I'll give a little more verbal cue. Thank you for confirming my suspicion. This is gone. This might not work. But what I hope you see is this is the step forward, deflect downward, and then it's intercept and punch. Because otherwise, for me, it just felt like a whole bunch of weird moves when I was learning it. I'm like, well, I do this big production, and where does the description fit into that? So it's step forward, deflect downward, intercept, touch. But I'll give the cues this time.
When you do the application, it really makes sense.
Absolutely,
Just
yeah.
everything goes click.
Yeah. I said no. All right. Couple deep breaths. Relax. Step left. Commencement. Ward off right. Ward off left. Ward off right. Pull back. Press. Push. Single whip. Lift hands. Strike with shoulder. White crank. Brushy push. One, that is. Playing guitar one. Brushy push two. Brushy push three. Brushy push four. Playing guitar two. Brushy push five. And for step forward, deflect downward, intercept and punch. Shift back, lower the hands. Form a fist with the right hand, sink down, step in, step out to a T. Shift to the right, turn and lift the hands, turn to the right, chamber to the right fist. Sink down, step in, step out, heel toe, shift to the left, hidden hand punch, turn the right toes in. Withdraw and push. Slip the left hand under, shift back, push. Cross hands, shift back. Turn the toes in as you turn towards the front. Step even. Right over left. Face together. Good. Yeah. Any questions before we bow out?
No, but I do remember a tip, and that is
What's that?
on the brush knee pushes, you get your arms out there as a counterweight.
Definitely. Definitely. They do help.
So that's helpful.
You know, all your hands are, I mean, even in single whip, it's designed to give you a counterweight as you, that could be a lot to take in at first, but if you're feeling wobbly, just remember, most of the time, there's an opposite force being applied on the other end.
Okay, okay.
So then next week, we'll obviously answer questions on any specific moves, otherwise we're just gonna get a lot of nice practice time running the section, which is a good place to be for the last week of the rotation. So let's go ahead and bow out. We follow the 5 hearts: faith, respect, perseverance, patience, and humility.
Head instructor?
To intermediate and beginner level students training at home, basic training is dismissed. This is our last day for this week. We're closed tomorrow through Friday, but we'll be back to regular schedule next week. So, alrighty.
May I have a quick
Yes.
question? Do we need to come to another class?
Only
this
if you
week,
want.
or we-
If you want to, you can. If you
You
don't,
don't have
that's
to.
totally fine. It's
Okay.
just so that people didn't feel shortchanged in a short week.
Right, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, if you're staying for Black Test training, get a drink, shake it out, I'll be right out, and I will think of something fun to do. I'll be touching people.
Fun's always good.
Every time we hear you.
No, that's not it, it's a tickle on the back of the throat.
I know, it's just, that's the first thing they teach you. I don't see you.
It's like when I was working, the worst words in the entire world you could hear were, "Hi, I'm from corporate and I'm here to help."
And in the military, I'm from the IG, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
We have our IG inspections every 2 years, and people run and then they freaked out, something figures. And I was lucky to be a lowly peon, so it really never affected me, except my boss is getting mad, and yelling at me.
Well, of course, you gotta yell at
But
somebody.
that happened all the time, so, like,
No big deal.
it was just an old day. I always did something to get me on that.
If you didn't, maybe something else.
That's really good.
All right, I have a plan.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Hopefully it's fun, I think it's fun. So last night, we had a brief interlude of fast form, the second section.
Oh.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna work a little bit on fast form on the first section, since it's the moves you're the most familiar with.
Okay.
And, again, have anybody done fast form before, a little bit? It would have been in like last night, was that the first time?
For the second section.
For the second section, okay, so you've done it for the first section.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so again, why do we do fast form? Anybody remember?
It's fun.
It is fun, it's fun, it's fun.
Smooths out the jerks.
It smooths out your stops and your jerks, and it also likes, we give credit to Amanda Elmore, one of our third-degree black sashes. She coined the phrase, it declutters your form. And there's no better way to put that. You'll find out extra stuff you've put in that you just don't have time for. And so it's a great kind of, it's a little room cleanup, but it also helps you review your sequence. So I would say fast form for intermediate students is really helpful to drill in sequence of newer moves. That's definitely will help you know where your blind spots are. But fast form on your first section, or the moves that you know the most securely, is the place to practice to try to smooth things out, move from your center, get some of those advanced concepts. So you can kind of apply fast form for different reasons and different levels of your experience. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so
How fast is fast?
we're not gonna go super fast today. But what we might do is we might ramp it up for fun, just to, again, for fun. It's fun. Hey, it's fun. It's no stress. We talked about a little bit last night, there's benefits to going very, very, very slowly, and there's also benefits to going very, very, very quickly. So, vary the speed of your practice in your home practice. It's beneficial. Sometimes you'll get some clarity on how a move is actually put together by speeding it up, then taking that sensation and applying it to when you slow it down. So, all right, any questions about that so far? Okay, we're gonna go just a hair faster than class pace, and then we might start to kind of switch it up. For fun.
For fun.
Yeah.
This is not tormenting. I'm trying not to torment here. And I'll go ahead and call the names. And I'll still call them before the move. So if you hear the name, you're not behind. That's the cue to do that move. Step left. Commencement. Ward off right. Ward off left. Ward off right. Pull back. Press. And push. Single whip. Lift hands. Strike with shoulder. Light crank. Brushy push. Playing guitar. Brush knee push. Brush knee push. Brush knee push. Playing guitar. Brushy push. Hidden hand punch. Withdrawn push. Cross hands. Feet together. How was that?
That one felt really good.
That felt good?
Yeah.
Good. Any synapses exploding yet?
I found I abbreviated hidden hand punch a little bit more than I should
Yeah,
have.
well, I don't know if it says should have or not, because that may be that decluttering thing, because there's the broken down way, and then there's the, oh, I gotta get this done way, right? So, I am not the best at, Master Gohring and Senior Head Instructor Fig are very good at being able to call, we used to train fast form by saying stop. And stop was not stop, stop was when my center would change direction. So it would help kind of give that concept of I've moved on, my center has moved on even though my hands have not. I'm gonna see if I can demonstrate it from the front. This may not go so well because I'm not super good at it, but let's see, so stop, 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 stop. 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 So you can kind of see my center is, the stop is where this has changed direction, even though this may not have finished. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So fast form is good at learning to smooth things together by changing the direction that your center is moving while not disconnecting what your hands are doing. That's a pretty advanced way of saying that, which I could not say in deceptive gold sash. But someone who's got a lot of martial arts experience or intermediate level students, right? So we're gonna do it again, and if nothing else, think of your center and how it's changing direction. Alrighty, we'll do about that same speed. You want names or just to go with it? What would you like? Let's just go with it. All right, try to keep an eye on the rest of the room and not speed up too much. And begin. Different?
Ran over myself.
You ran over yourself. Yeah. I'm gonna speed it up just a tiny notch, just for again, fun. Not for stress. Fun. It's fun. I say that because there's been years where we mention fast form and literally people just go into like apoplectic, but no, I'm too slow. You know, so I'm trying to prevent the freak out. It's fun. It's a fun thing. All right. And begin. And push. Single. Lift. Stretch your shoulder. White. Brush knee push. Plank. Brush knee push. Brush knee push. Brushy push. Slang guitar. Brushy push. Hidden hand push. Withdraw push. Cross hands. Feet together.
Lost it a couple
Got lost.
times.
So that's the speed. That's
fast.
That's okay. So what I want to do is real quick just show you, to me, one of the Brushy push sequence is a really helpful one to kind of, you can get that momentum of how one feeds into the other, which then hopefully you can take back and mimic, even though you're doing it very slowly. So it also happens from, you can kind of see how strike with shoulder naturally leads itself to white crane spreads wings, right? And we in beginner class, we put a stop here, and then we do this, but you can really see how this can lead to this. But for the Brushy push sequence, you can hopefully kind of see how the center continues to move forward. So even though I reset my foot and for playing guitar, it's not a full stop break energy. It's here, here, here. There's this constant, forward force and momentum. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the momentum actually helps you move.
It does. It does. But what it's going to do is with that momentum, if I follow the momentum, I'm not going to have time to I just don't have time for it. So it's here. So notice my arms don't come open as far to get this. So it tightens the corkscrew on everything. Want to try it one more time?
Because it's fun.
Fun. I should. It's easy. We'll add another one. It's fun. Natalie Durkin.
There's a helicopter.
Right? And I'll call names just so we can stay together. Step left. Commencement. Ward off right. Ward off left. Ward off right. Pull back. Press. Push. Relax. Single whip. That's the other one. Lift hands. Can't do this tight. Strike with shoulder. White crane. Brush knee push. 1. Playing guitar. Brush knee push. 2. And 3. And 4. Playing guitar. 2. And 5. Hidden hand punch. Withdraw push. Cross hands. Feet together. That reminded me, so that's the other thing, you have to be relaxed and loose. So if you don't know it, but in your slow form, you're slow but tight, which is a very common way of kind of tricking the visual of Tai Chi, because I am moving so slow. And there is not a soft muscle in my entire body. Not now, not ever. So this helps train that out, because to be quick, you have to loosen up a little bit. So it helps soften up, particularly the upper body.
Keep you humble too.
Fun! All right. Any last questions before we bow out? All right, let's do our life skill. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles.
Lot ahead, instructor.
Now to intermediate and beginner level students, students at home, black sash training is dismissed. Good job, everybody. If you're staying for master's path, get a drink, come back out, and we'll do some advanced moves. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your break. I will try.
I was trying to
She's
think.
getting there, she's still there, and she'll be there for a while, but, she's able to do a little bit more on her own, but my house is tiny, so having, you know, I'm tiny and I'm a solo dweller, so I'm like, you're still here, oh, boy, that's awesome.
Doing
But, I
something
mean,
weird.
it's going well,
This foot is
but
dragging.
I need to carve out my
I'm not
code of
sure.
silence.
Maybe
I'm glad she's here, of course she needs to be, but it's, wow,
I'm doing something else.
all right, I think the introverted me is. Have a great Thanksgiving.
My waist turning, can we get out of sequence? Gonna get a glitch. Whoop.
I hear you. I'm just glad I remember the sequence of what comes next.
Good Thanksgiving,
Yeah, you guys too.
Great Thanksgiving.
You too.
Y'all be safe
Gonna try.
and be good.
Oh, I can't guarantee
What?
that.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Can't guarantee the last one.
That's just crazy talk.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
She don't know us well, do she?
Okay,
Okay.
advanced moves. Feeling really advanced.
Or not.
In age, maybe.
All right, so, pick a move, any move. What would you like to?
Can we look at cloud hands?
Of course we can look at cloud
I'm so choppy
hands.
on it.
Cloud hands is, cloud hands makes me happy.
Choppy,
Copy.
So
choppy.
you've got storm hands. you've
Oh,
got-
I want just feed and
you've got
everything.
Turbulence hands.
It's the, you know, my feet are thunder and, you know.
So, what, is there anything in particular about them, or?
No, just go through it once or twice and then we can do anything else.
Okay.
I just want to try to smooth it out a little bit.
So take a look at it once, and then we'll practice. You can split it if you want. So, anything stick out?
Oh, it's a lot smoother than I do it.
Well, let's practice it a couple of times
It's
together.
that, the weight shift and the turning. If you get those right, it all flows.
Okay. And you said it was, shift, switch, turn,
Step.
step.
That's it.
Okay. I think that's part
And
of it.
you've done some cloud hands with senior instructor Pig, haven't you? Yes, I remember seeing, I'm like, look at all the clouding happening. All right, so let's start with a single whip. And transition to cloud hands. There's a little bit of a, here is a shift, switch, turn, step, kind of on a micro level. And cloud hands one, shift, switch the hands, turn the waist, step, shift, switch, turn and step. Cloud hands one, two, shift, switch, turn, step, shift, switch, turn, step, two. Three, shift, switch, turn, step, shift, switch, turn, step. Once you get out of it, single whip, steps diagonal, and out.
Oh, threw me off and said step to diagonal.
Oh, what I meant is the step diagonal is to get out of it. You step back at a 45-degree angle, you turn the wheel, and then
And turn the
step.
wheel, and all of a sudden I was going this way.
That's okay. In that case, follow your muscle memory and don't listen to me.
Can we just look at the entry one more time?
Absolutely. You want to see it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so. So it's, like I said a second ago, there is that little mini shift, switch, turn, step, but that's not the first thing that happens. The first thing that happens is I have to turn and turn my toes in. So once I get to here, there is this little shift, switch, turn, step, even though it's a lot smaller.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So, for me, there's that little whip, like, and then, so it feels kind of like a mini cloud hand.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Did you see what you needed?
I did, thank you.
Let's practice it a couple more times. transition to cloud hands. And then cloud hands 1. Cloud hands 2. Cloud hands 3. Step to 45 degree, turn the wheel, sit down, step in, step out, single whip.
Thank you.
I'm gonna run it one more time, and I'll watch.
Sure.
We'll start from single whip. And, Ms. Burns, widen your stance a little bit. There you go. Good, good, good. Okay, transition to cloud hands. Yep. Let's see, so, there you go. Cloud hands 1. Mr. Lyons got it.
Shifting that one.
Ooh, okay. Ting.
Thank you.
So, let's see, putting words on. Here, obviously, this one feels a little weird because my feet are close together, but everyone can feel that, like, even though my feet are close together, if my weight's all on my left leg, my weight's all on my right leg. So the shift is gonna be more subtle in the narrower stance. The key is to not lose that in terms of, oh, I'm here, so there's a switch in the hands. So, let's see. Everyone just practice for a second. Put your feet shoulder width apart. And put your weight on your left leg. And now as you shift to your right, let your right hand do a backhand. And then, so now your weight's on your right. Now, shift to the left and do a left hand backhand. So I'm gonna switch the same, so I'm over here, now I'm gonna shift to the right and swing. Left and swing. And let your arms go loose, like really just let it. Gotta loosen up. Cloud hands only work if you're relaxed. Just kind of what I said, like fat, tight cloud hands are grumpy cloud hands. So now I'm gonna kind of speed it up. It's not exactly this, but your body will kind of know what to do if you tell it, I'm trying to swing my arm that way. So obviously cloud hands is not an uncontrolled swing, but see if you can spot. I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit. I'm exaggerating, but you can kind of hopefully see where that is. So when that exercise we were just doing, the switch is here. The switch is as this hand passes this hand. So I'm here. It's just a more controlled version of, taking it after somebody. Does that make sense in
Yes, it
theory?
does, thank you.
And then, so pressuring those feet and really being clear about where your weight is will help. Relax, 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 relax. So just swingy, loose waist, loose shoulders. Yeah. So let's try it a couple times and together. And this time I just want you to be as loose and relaxed in the upper body and in your waist as you can. It's okay if the arms end up in the wrong place. Just be loose. Single whip. And transition. Cloud hands 1. Cloud hands 2. Yeah, you got it, Mr. Woods. Cloud hands 3. Single whip. Yeah.
Thank you.
Swing.
So, carrying on with just baby steps, what we did in access training, let's do it a little bit faster, just a tiny bit, because it makes you stay loose. Not crazy fast, just a little faster. Single whip. And transition.
odd kind of
No,
thing.
cloud hands, to me, cloud hands is an excellent, move to practice at any time, because it incorporates every possible, important idea or aspect of Tai Chi. And it's more complicated than it looks. I mean, I remember being a beginner student and then see intermediate advanced students doing cloud hands, I'm like, well, that's kind of a weird move, and that looks super easy. And then I got to cloud hands, I'm like, this is insane. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff happening here. To not make it look like vaudeville hands, which can happen pretty easily.
Not guilty.
Everyone, you know, so much like with Tai Chi, what it looks like and what it is two different things. But again, hopefully you can see how fast forward speeding it up just that little bit helps make sense of that. You may not be able to feel it when you're going super slow and you're forcing things, but when you speed it up, you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. Provided you don't get the hands ahead of the feet, in which case, that's when it's turning in, and that feels really weird.
I don't even want to see it.
I know, and I'm like, can I even do it? I'm not sure I can do it. Everybody here gets gold star because you're not doing hula hips, it's not leaning with the, you know, like that's a thing that happens. You're not doing that, so that's really good.
Well, the backs don't work that way.
The what?
The backs don't work that way.
Right,
Yeah,
I
you're
can't.
like who you're talking to.
I can't, yeah. But sometimes it comes from hip tightness, so if the waist is loose, it ends up being kind of a hip pivot and a flexion of the trunk versus a rotation. So it isn't always a total shimmy, it comes from tightness in another place. All right, so let's go ahead and bow out. Hopefully you got some good cloud hands to talk and think about. I haven't done it yet, but I have a dream that if I ever feel just bold enough, I'm gonna cloud hands around the block. I'm just not quite ready. I mean, maybe there will be no reaction, but I'm still like, what is that reaction gonna be? And it's slow moving. People can come and ask me questions, and I don't wanna deal with that. So I haven't done it yet, but if you could.
Depends on your neighbors, I think.
It does. Yeah, I don't know how that would go. But I dare anybody, let me know how it goes if you try it.
Instructor.
Now to intermediate and beginner level students at home, master's path training is dismissed. Good job, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
Oh.